Hello and welcome to this segment brought to you by Bitt. Enable payments, empower people. I'm Jason Belle here with Chief Economist at Bitt, Marla Dukharan. Marla, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, Jason.
Awesome. And we're here talking about your upcoming conference, Central Bank Meets Blockchain. It's going to be on the 10th of September, is it?
That's correct.
Yes, so a couple of Tuesdays from now. And it's going to be at the Hilton Barbados Resort all day long, from 9 till 5. Mm-hmm. And you'll be talking about Central Bank Meets Blockchain. Could you please tell us about Bitt, a little bit about Bitt, the company, and what role are you playing in the local and regional, financial services industry?
Okay, so Bitt is a fintech company, financial technology company.
Thank you for explaining what fintech means, because I was just about to get a little lost.
Right, financial technology, and we are based here in Barbados, but we do work for other countries across the region. We have a digital currency pilot with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, for example. So we're doing work across the Eastern Caribbean.
So Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, that covers like St. Kitts and St. Lucia.
8 countries, yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda. Everybody who uses Montserrat as well, everybody who uses the EC dollar.
Currency.
So we're going to create a digital EC dollar for them.
As opposed to your regular paper
physical notes and coins, yes.
You have a digital currency.
That's correct.
Wow. Okay, so that's a game changer. Could you explain to us how a digital currency works in terms of because are you talking then, is there a possibility for a Barbadian digital dollar, for instance?
Well, what we have created on the M-Money network here in Barbados is actually a synthetic digital currency, central bank digital currency, whereas the one that we're creating in the Eastern Caribbean, that will be issued by the central bank, where we are giving them the technology to issue that digital EC dollar. Here in Barbados, as you may know, we've exited the sandbox process with the central bank and the Financial Services Commission. And that digital Barbados dollar that we created, of course, it's not issued by the central bank,
right,
but it will now be regulated by the central bank. So there's a slight difference there. To the end user, I think there is pretty much no difference whether the central bank has issued it or we have. But in terms of the way the technology is set up and the way the network is set up, there is a difference. Now, a central bank issues currency in, as you mentioned, physical notes and coins, but also there's electronic money. This is the money that you interact with when you use the ATM, you use online banking.
Or if I'm transferring money from one account to another via my
electronically, exactly, or credit card, debit card, that's electronic money. So the central bank already issues currency, in those two formats. A digital currency is different from electronic money, but it will be available to the end user on mobile money apps. That's the key difference. And each note and coin, if you will, in a digital world has its own serial number and so on, just the way a physical note and coin will. So there are similarities between a physical note and a digital note, if you will.
And it will be managed by the central bank of that particular territory.
That's correct. So in this case, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So anyway, we're going back to what we do. We are doing work with the EC as well as other countries in the Caribbean, such as the other currency union we have in the region, which is Curacao and St. Martin. And we've also been in talks with other central banks across the region. So our goal, we hope one day that there will be universal financial inclusion throughout the region.
Right.
Meaning that everybody will have access to financial services in an affordable and easy to use manner. That's one of our driving goals.
That sounds truly exciting, because that means it will be so much easier to perform transactions across borders, even in our region.
Exactly.
As small as our region is, it is pretty tedious sometimes to even do the more simple financial transactions. So I can see this benefiting, the whole concept of CSME. And if you're saying that I can easily transact business or perform a transaction, a transfer of money from one country to another with my phone or with a simple website, as opposed to going through an intermediary or have to stand up in line at the bank, that's a game changer for us.
That's what we're aiming for. And so at the conference, we're going to be, the sub-theme for this year's conference, even though every year the theme is Central Bank Meets Blockchain, every year we have a sub-theme. This year's sub-theme is Beyond Borders, because we're trying to basically highlight that central bank digital currency is all well and good for domestic transactions. What we're looking at is cross-border transactions with the Caribbean Settlement Network, which is a revision of what the multilateral clearing facility of the 1970s and 80s tried to achieve.
Wow.
Which is where we have that connectivity across the CSME to start with, and so that we can pay each other without using US dollars and without using foreign banks and without wire transfers and SWIFT and the costs and the time that it takes to do all of that.
That's one of the more frustrating things I found in my limited experience in doing transactions across the region. You have to kind of transfer the money into US dollars, then send it there, and then it takes days, and you're not sure if it's done, you're not sure exactly when it was done. So are you saying with this digital currency you can literally track to the second when these sort of transactions are completed, as opposed to kind of hoping that you hear a message from the person back saying, yeah, I got the money, or a bit, no, I haven't got the money, the bank is taking the extra day to blah blah blah. And I'm not ragging on banks, that's not the point of the thing. But with digital currency, it really does.
There is an opportunity for us to remove those frictions, for it to be seamless, and for it to take seconds as opposed to days or weeks. Wow. So, for example, we have a digital currency here in Barbados. We're creating one in the Eastern Caribbean. Can you imagine a situation where you have to pay your supplier in Dominica, for example, and you open an app, you select payment, you send the amount of money. You're sending Barbados dollars, but they're receiving Eastern Caribbean dollars on their phone, on their end, and they can take those digital EC dollars, they can make purchases, they can go to the bank and cash it back out if they want to, but they're free to use it, and that transaction has taken seconds instead of days and has cost very little. Compared to the, say, 50 US or so in wire transfer fees you would have to pay now.
That is truly remarkable. So all the conversions and all the behind the scenes bit
will be handled, not Bitt, the Caribbean Settlement Network.
Okay.
The working group of the Caribbean Settlement Network was launched in April of this year at the CDB's headquarters here in Barbados. And the working group consists of not just Bitt, but CARICOM representatives, IDB representatives, CDB representatives, representatives from the banking sector as well. And we're all working together to try to make this CSN, Caribbean Settlement Network, a reality.
I'd be happy for you to speak just a little bit more about that, because what you just said is, again, very crucial. There are so many players in this thing, and it's not like you're looking to subsume or get rid of banks, so to speak. It's nothing like that at all. I'm really happy to hear that they are being involved in this working group. Just talk to us a little bit more about that and how that whole process, because this is something that a lot of us as listeners don't know much about. I mean, we will be beneficiaries eventually, but
of course,
this is awesome. This is really
Thank you, and I'm glad you think so, because a lot of us in the working group, I mean, this is all on a voluntary basis that we're doing this, and it's all for love.
Even more remarkable.
Yeah, for love of our countries and this region. And the thing is, the idea really stemmed from the Multilateral Clearing Facility, which existed in the 70s and early 80s, and then collapsed when Guyana ran into financial difficulties and so on. Anyway, the whole idea existed since then, where it is ridiculous that we can on a clear day see your island from my island, but we have to send money. If I have to pay you, I have to convert to US dollars, send it all the way to New York,
all the way back again.
Bank of New York has to send it to JP Morgan to Bank of America, and then back to you. And then at each step a cost is incurred, at each step time is used up, at each step there is human intervention and therefore risk of error. And that it's just ridiculous that we should have to go through that, and it adds no value.
That's the thing.
It adds no value, it takes away value, and we are trying to promote in this region, we're trying to work together to solve common problems, and this is one of them. Now, it's really going to help to promote intra-regional trade, intra-regional remittance flows, and overall lift all boats, because all of our economies will do better if we can trade with each other much more easily than we do now, or much more easily than we trade with, let's just say, the US or Brazil or any of our major trading partners. We need to try to promote intra-regional trade as much as possible.
Making it as easy as possible.
And making it easier and less frictions and more cost effective. That's what we're aiming for. So I'm happy that you're excited about the idea. We really have a multifaceted and multi-talented team. We have lawyers, we have tech people, we have economists like myself on the team, and every quarter we meet, and the working group is really trying to hammer together the methodology for what this network will look like, who's going to be involved, how are we going to get members on the network, how the network is going to be structured, the legal underpinnings of it, the exchange between currencies inside of it. All of those details have to be worked out, but we're making progress.
Outstanding.
And we'll be discussing it at length at the conference.
Right, because now you've really got me interested in attending the conference. I want to find out, how can I register? Just remind us how we can register for the conference.
So you go to Bitt's website, we're www.bitt.com.
Right.
And you click on the conference page, and there is a video of last year's conference, some highlights, so that we will get an idea of what the conference looks and feels like. And we have a list of all the speakers that are going to speak this year on that website.
Nice.
And then there is a link to click that you can for you to register and pay for your ticket, which is $700 Barbados now, because the early bird tickets have all gone.
Last year, I saw some pictures from last year, and it seemed to have been a full house.
It was a very full house.
So it is one of those must-get tickets, like, get it now or you will be disappointed.
Yes. And we're not doing live streaming. A lot of people keep asking me. We're not doing live streaming, and the video goes up a long time after. It doesn't go up immediately after. So it's better to be there in person if you can.
Yeah. Some information is not readily, and then even if you were to live stream it, there's the real value in conferences, like this is breakout sessions and the chances to network and
talk to people.
Those are absolutely valuable. So I was here looking at the list of speakers. These are like some real powerhouse speakers, man. And Dinesh Shah is one of the speakers. He's at the Bank of Canada.
Yes.
And his topic on that day is...
Yeah, he's going to talk about Project Jasper, which is Bank of Canada's digital currency project. So he's going to share that with us. And also Bank of Canada, Bank of England, and Monetary Authority of Singapore have done some experimentation and some research on kind of what we just discussed, this cross-border, using digital currency for cross-border payment and settlement.
Right.
So that's their wholesale CBDC project, which they wrote an extensive paper on. And he's going to be presenting on the findings of their research and what they experienced in their experiment. Yes.
Fascinating. And we've also have speakers from the ECCB.
So Francis is going to talk about that project that I mentioned that we are doing with them, the digital currency project in the Eastern Caribbean. So he'll give an update on where we're at with that, but also he will talk about why did the EC decide to do this, and what are the kinds of transformative implications they're expecting to derive from it.
Outstanding. And those are just two of the speakers that you've got listed here. You've got a real power panel, and it looks like an excellent event coming up on the 10th of September. Central Bank meets blockchain beyond borders.
Beyond borders.
I love that concept. And it's going to be on the 10th of September at the Hilton Barbados Resort.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Get there on time, get there early, register on www.bitt.com. And let's give a special shout out to our sponsors, because you're here today. Obviously, Bitt is one of the major champions of this event. But I notice here that the IDB, and help me with these.
The IDB has sponsored us for a second year. Inter-American Development Bank.
Yes, okay, thank you.
The Caribbean Development Bank, we have speakers, but not sponsors. We also have speakers from the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator, from Massey Group, from Cave Shepherd.
Thank you, Cave Shepherd.
Our sponsors are Massey, IDB, ICBL, Buzo.
Ooh.
So we're really excited to have all of these sponsors on board for our conference this year, and we thank you. We thank our sponsors.
10th of September 2019, Beyond Borders, and this is the third one, isn't it?
Yes, this is our third year.
So we're looking forward to making this an annual event. It's a really important and exciting for the future of business in the Caribbean. Thank you once again, Marla Dukharan, Chief Economist at Bitt, speaking about Beyond Borders.